What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dissect That Film podcast, where once a week we dissect a film from a film franchise, or, at some point we're going to do TV. Today, we're talking about Jurassic World. We're back to the Jurassic franchise. Talk about Jurassic World after our wonderful October Spooktoberfest. But we're back. We're back on the island, everybody.
The OG island.
The OG island. And joining me, of course, is the wonderful DNA Gaming, consisting of Dan and Angela.
Hello.
It's good to be back. It's been a while. Feels like it's been a while. My new addition is here.
Yeah,
which ironically has the same name as the main character of this movie.
Yeah.
Ironically, for all of you just audio listeners, the baby's actually hanging in the background back there.
No. No. Oh God. This video was taken down.
Instantly. Well, no, the video they would know.
Oh,
the
sure.
audio,
yeah. They're terrified. They're terrified.
What?
Are you kidding me?
No, you got like a hanging cradle.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're back. My new edition is here, as I said, and we're back to the Jurassic franchise, which I'm excited for, at least for this week. Oh boy, next week, I don't know.
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh,
again.
thank you.
Yes,
thank
again.
you. Thank you.
For the billionth time.
Yep. Just going to keep showing those baby pictures so that Dan's like, God
He's adorable.
damn it.
Oh, don't bother me. I like baby
I
pictures.
love it.
She's the one that's got issues with it.
They're just so little.
You just put them in your pocket like, oh, baby.
Everybody's like, shut up. Talk about Jurassic World.
Talk about the babies. That's got babies in Jurassic World. As far as I'm concerned, one of your boys will eat your other one. If you go by this film's logic.
Oh my goodness. Jurassic World was released June 12th, 2015, with a budget of $150 million and a worldwide box office of $1.67 billion at the box office. It was the fourth, at the time, it was the fourth highest grossing film of all time.
That's a good turn on investment.
Yeah. It was at third, but it was bumped down. Don't remember what movie bumped it down. But yeah, that's a lot of money, but you got to think. It was 14 years from between the release of Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World. There was a big gap. But you know what? It gave the screenwriters and all the people, enough time to put out what I think is a good movie. It's not great.
Well, yeah,
it's not Jurassic Park, but it's better than Jurassic Park 3. It's right there in the middle, and I appreciate it.
Well, as long as the movie started with, "Hey guys, we have a script." I think they're way ahead of Jurassic Park 3.
Yes. This film was directed by Colin Trevorrow. He also will be directing Jurassic World Dominion, which will be out next year. He also was a writer for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. He's written a few other films throughout the years. Safety Not Guaranteed, which I've heard is a good indie movie. Never seen it. But yeah, he was supposed to direct Star Wars Episode 9, but was dropped because of creative differences. So they brought back J.J. Abrams to do that, which I would have been intrigued to see what he would have done with the movie, because as we all know, Episode 9 did not come out great. So,
I never watched it.
Yeah, it would have. I would have liked to see what he could have done with it. But to be honest, I really like what he did with Jurassic World. Even if a lot of people, including myself, when I first saw it back in the day, it is pretty much kind of just an updated version of Jurassic Park with some more visuals.
I mean, if that was their goal, they nailed it.
Yeah. Steven Spielberg was on as a executive producer. His second Jurassic movie that he did not helm, which is normal for him. He's not much of a sequel guy unless it's Indiana Jones. Or, I think he learned after doing Jurassic Park or The Lost World Jurassic Park, he decided, I'm just going to let other people take the reins on this. I'll just be in the background, kind of still making decisions or still helping push decisions, which he did a lot on this film. He was very involved with Jurassic World. And Colin Trevorrow is a huge Jurassic Park fan, so he took a lot of pride in everything that he did with this film, especially making sure Steven was happy with the things that he decided to do. Of course, it's starring everybody's favorite meme nowadays, Chris Pratt, who is literally he's voicing everybody nowadays, people. Go online and you will see literally everybody tweeting out Chris Pratt is now the voice of this person, this person, this person. He just got announced he's going to be voicing Garfield. He's going to be Super Mario. Like, come on, Chris Pratt. I like you. I think you're a good actor, but I don't know if I agree with those decisions, but we're not going to get too much into that today.
My favorite one of those memes is, have you heard Chris Pratt is voicing Chris Pratt in the animated Chris Pratt movie? That's my favorite.
Oh, I forgot to share that one. That one was great. I just saw Xbox tweeted out, Chris Pratt is now the voice of Master Chief.
Yes! That's good.
So, awesome. It also stars Bryce Dallas Howard, Vincent D'Onofrio, Ty Simpkins, Nick Robinson. BD Wong is back, of course, as Wu.
Yeah, he is. Big Dick Wong.
Woo! Yeah. And Irfan Khan. Was written by Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, who are writing partners. They've written, let's see, I gotta click on their names real quick. I had a bunch of, they wrote all of the newer Planet of the Apes films.
Oh, some of those are pretty good.
Oh, they're great. All three of them. Fantastic. And they wrote the live action Mulan that came out last year.
That movie sucks because it doesn't have Mega Man out of you. Just let you know, it was supposed to be there and it's not. So I don't care. I have no idea if the movie sucks. I really don't know. I've never seen it.
I enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people did not enjoy.
I'm just poking and never seen it.
Also, Judy Greer's in this movie, and guess what her name is? Karen, because
dude,
she loves being Karen.
I know you like Judy Greer. Why does she just look so mopey and sad all the time? Like her face just like perpetually looks that way.
She's just always in bad situations. She's just always in like mopey situations. She was getting a divorce in this.
Well, I understand. Last time she was getting chased by a serial killer. Last time we talked
exactly.
about it.
I mean, I'd be mopey too if I had to look over my shoulder. Somebody's gonna kill me.
Well, I'm sure she's good in what I've seen her in. She's just something about her. She always just looks.
Yeah, she always looks mopey. I know. I get it. I get what you're saying. Also, one of my favorites, because I recently just went through the show New Girl, which is it's a sitcom. It's got Jake Johnson in it, which he's great. Yeah. Lowry. I love him. He's literally just playing the same character he played in that show. He's
so good.
He's just so funny. So good. He's great.
So good.
Poor Lowry.
Yeah. Poor Lowry. And I also want to shout out Katie McGrath because she played Zara, and she probably has the most gruesome kill of all the Jurassic films. Unnecessary and just gruesome.
That is an Eddie Carr reference if I had ever seen.
Oh yeah. One. Like I think Eddie Carr's is top of the list of like saddest deaths, but watching this film when I watched it yesterday, there was some things I was picking up in the subtitles. Again, if you really want to pick up on some details, watch movies with subtitles.
Yeah, we neglected to do that when we watched it.
Because you will pick up things that people are saying in the background, especially if it's a character that's focal to what's going on. And it's great. So she literally in a scene she's talking to somebody on the phone about her wedding. She's getting married. And it just makes it so sad when she dies. You're like, oh my God, this chick is she gets absolutely destroyed.
Oh God, yeah, she gets it so bad.
And we also get a cameo from Jimmy Buffett. I mean, come on.
Right, yeah. Hey, I cleaned that dude's hotels.
Do you?
Saying.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, I cleaned 2 Margaritavilles.
Nice. The funny thing was when this movie first came out, and that scene happens, and you see the guy grabbing the margaritas and running, people said, like, it never came out that it was actually Jimmy Buffett. They just said it was a Jimmy Buffett looking guy because there was a Margaritaville in Jurassic World, and it was just a Jimmy Buffett looking guy. But then like recently, it was when it came out. I was like, no, that literally was Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that makes
Jimmy
it.
Fallon.
Yeah, they had Jimmy Fallon playing himself, which I didn't care for. I like Jimmy Fallon, but I like to take him in doses. Like it's like small doses. If I get too much of him, it pisses me off.
Did it just seem like let's stick as much like relevant pop culture into this film?
Pop culture.
Just take it all!
Pop culture and product placement. But the thing about this movie is they also acknowledge the product placement. It's not just there to be there. It's like, no, we know
Lowry can stab at it.
Yeah, I know he's talking about like the Verizon Wireless presents the Indominus Rex. Like, all right, well, at least you guys acknowledge these things, and this is what theme parks are. Like,
yeah,
that's what, like, it just has scary dinosaurs. Vincent D'Onofrio is in this movie, and if you don't know who Vincent D'Onofrio is, and a lot of people probably won't know this, he was the scary alien dude back in Men in Black.
Yep.
I need water.
He's so
good.
Water. Water. I love his his wife is great too in that.
That was probably the first time I seen Vincent D'Onofrio, but didn't realize it was Vincent D'Onofrio. The first time I realized it was Vincent D'Onofrio was Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
That was my first experience.
He was fantastic. He's a fantastic actor. I don't think I've seen a movie with him that I was disappointed in.
I think he's a very underappreciated, like overshadowed actor.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. He can play a good guy who will care about you, and then he plays a sleazeball like he plays in this very well. He was also in he was like a long running character in like one of the Law and Order shows.
Yeah,
it was like Criminal Intent.
Yeah, Law and Order.
Criminal Intent. Yeah.
He was there forever. That's where I remember seeing him. Like, there he is again.
Yep.
And he was in Ratchet.
And he was fucking Kingpin.
Yes, he was Kingpin and Daredevil. He was in Ratchet as the piece of shit governor. Yep, Ratchet, great show. Based on the One Who Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest, Nurse Ratchet.
So good.
I recommend that show.
It was
also
amazing.
I recommend Daredevil because I think it's the best Netflix Marvel show that they put out there. Ty Simpkins. This kid was busy back in the span of like 2010 to 2015 because he was in Iron Man 3. He was running away from dudes blowing themselves up. He was in Insidious, where he literally has to escape from a demon. And then he's in this, running away from dinosaurs.
Run away from everything.
Yeah, he's got to run away from dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Bryce Dallas Howard, she has been in so many films. I think she's a fantastic actor. She's also the daughter of acclaimed director Ron Howard. And did I miss anybody? Nick Robinson. I don't really know much about him. I know he was in a show recently on FX. And then I know he was in a movie called like I, Simon or something like that. It was a show that Hulu had produced that was based on it.
I thought it was cool that 3 of the actors and actresses were in different Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
Spider-Man.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Shot Webb.
Also, just for any Office fans out there, Andy Buckley was in this movie. He plays, he was like the boss of Dunder Mifflin. He was the head honcho. David Wallace.
Nope. Nothing.
Oh, that's why I said to all of my Office fans.
Yeah,
out there.
I know. I know. I'm just letting you know.
So, watching this I've seen this movie a lot. What did we think about our most recent viewing of Jurassic World?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the most part. I thought that some of the scenes could have been shortened a little bit. I kind of thought it felt a little long.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it had dinosaurs in it.
Had dinosaurs.
Yes.
Hi.
What?
And I'm just not. Anyway, so I think this movie is really good at pushing that nostalgia section of your brain.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
Really good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, on I've seen this movie several times. So on this viewing, so I did really like the film. I do like it a lot. I think I like it more than I lead on.
Mm-hmm.
I do really enjoy this movie. I don't like the overuse of CG. Of course, I still prefer more practical effects, but I still think they did a good job. I like most of the characters. I like how I like the Velociraptors for like the first half of this movie, and I actually really come to appreciate the story arc between Gray and Zach.
The brothers.
Yeah, at the end of it, I think I appreciate them. This viewing, I don't know why, like really like focused on that. Like I think I appreciate that more, that their character arc more than I do like pretty much anybody else's in the whole movie. Oh, and also, Ms. Ronnie is like a shadow douche. I just want to just throw that out there.
Yeah, he's not as man.
Douche.
I don't know if I want to put him on the same pedestal as Hammond.
He's not anywhere near as, but you could tell there's something there.
He's like slowly edging his way. Like there's no care. This is how this works. This is it. Like he's so free spirited, but it's like, dude, you run a park with dinosaurs. Like seriously, you probably should care a little bit more.
When we get to it later, some of his actions kind of indicate different. Like, oh, whatever this, you're in control. And there's like a few things he does later in the movie. I'm like,
huh.
Kind of, yeah. I do like the movie.
You really have a helicopter here, and nobody else can fly this thing except for the guy who owns the company and the park. Stupid.
Yep.
But to be honest, he's definitely not the most evil person in this film.
No, I just think he makes a lot of poor choices.
Hoskins is definitely the lead villain, I think, of this film.
Yep.
He is just waiting for bad things to happen. And
Hoskins.
Yeah, and even Claire says it to him. Like, you wanted all this shit to happen. And like, what do you think on that? I'm like, how many more people need to die? It's like, no, motherfucker, you wanted people to die.
Okay, how many times did they show him with a shit-eating grin on his face?
Oh, yeah.
Something bad was happening.
Like, Miss Ronnie dies, and he's like,
go
time. Yep. And you're like, oh, yep. Oh, God.
Well, also, I mean, it's just a classic. Like, he's our character we're going to make an example out of. He's our sacrificial lamb at the arrogance of man. Like he's our straw man for that, literally, because he's just so narrow-minded, and he's like, this is how this is going to work. It's going to work the way I want it to. And like, that's not how this always pans out, dude.
Yeah. So it was funny. I was watching a lot of some of the behind the scenes of this after watching it, and Chris Pratt was talking about how he made a video back in like 2009 while he was working on Parks and Recreation, where he was pretending like he was getting text messages from Steven Spielberg about it. You know, hey, do you want to be in Jurassic Park 4? And he was like texting him back saying, I'm not interested.
Yeah. I have heard. I actually read that.
It shows a clip of him doing it too, and it's so old. Like he's got this old school camera, and he's got like the slide phone, and he's pretending to text him. And Chris Pratt, back, as he progresses through his career, he just gets more odd to me. He's just an odd guy. But I don't want to go too far into his, life outside of film. But I enjoy the films that he's in. There was a lot of references, like you were saying. It's full of nostalgia. There's just things everywhere. I mean, they find the original Jurassic Park as they're wandering through the jungle. We see a couple times Ian Malcolm's book pops up, which the scene where they're on the tram heading to the park, Zara is reading Malcolm's book, which I did not realize this. My wife pointed, she's like, is that Malcolm on that? And it's literally, it just showed his head on the back cover. And then it shows his book on the desk of one of the control room people. The girl.
Doesn't Lowry have it?
No, I think I was on the girl's side. I can't remember her name.
I don't remember her name either. I can't be bothered.
So when they were... she was a good character. I loved the scene when Lowry goes up to her like to try to kiss her, and she's like, I got a boyfriend. It was improvised by her. It wasn't in the script. And Colin Trevorrow was like, we're keeping that. It's great. Love it. And I just love Jake Johnson's reaction to it. He's comedy gold. I love Jake Johnson.
He's great. He's one of my favorite characters in this.
Yeah, so when they were creating the trailer for this early 2015, Colin Trevorrow went to Spielberg and asked if he would be able to get recordings of Richard Attenborough from the original film. And one of the lines, of course, is "Welcome to Jurassic Park," where they actually were able to change it up so that in the trailer it would be Richard Attenborough saying "Welcome to Jurassic World," which I thought was a cool homage to Richard Attenborough, who had passed away in 2014. So that was cool. They also paid tribute. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say I heard he had paid prior to getting really ill and passing away. I know he had expressed interest at doing the character again. I had read that. So,
well, wasn't it stated that he had passed away before Jurassic Park 3? Wasn't there in like the lore?
I think in the lore, I don't remember when they added it, but I kept thinking it was between 3 and World, but it could have been prior to 3. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. But they, of course, they pay tribute to him with the Welcome Center, which is, I believe, it's the John Hammond Welcome Center, and he's got there's a statue of him too. Yep. And also, you'll get a lot of references to Hammond in the next film as well, but we won't go into that until next week.
Yep. There's one huge mistake in this movie, and I'll talk about it later when we get to it.
Yeah, so like we were stating earlier, a lot of CGI in this movie, definitely way more than any Jurassic film. To be honest, it looked good, but I was also very disappointed because of the lack of it. Like, especially a lot of the close-ups of the raptors. I think they could have done more. I would have loved to see a practical Indominus, especially on the close-up shots, like when he's under the truck, after he covers himself with the gas and he's under the truck and you get that shot of the Indo, like looking under the oh man, that would have been great if it was practical. But with the, it's 2015. It's been, at that point, it was 22 years after Jurassic Park. The innovations in CG, they just felt it was, they wanted to make it look better, in which it does look good, but I just feel like it's too much. It's just a little too much for me. And I think that's what Fallen Kingdom does better, is that they went back to doing a lot of practical on close-ups. Listen, I'm not saying practical for everything, because when you have a giant animal like the Indominus Rex, which is bigger than the T-Rex, in far shots, you got to use CG. It's just animatronics cost money, so does CG, of course, but it would just be so much, and I understand why they have to do it. Listen,
no, it makes sense. So it makes sense, like what you said, but like even just a little bit. It's like it seems like right when, like after the original Jurassic Park, you remember where everything went like CGI crazy after the original Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
And like it's cool and it looks neat, but after a while, it just takes the heart out of the movie. It's really hard sometimes to properly convey emotion, even with your actors, to act off properly if there's nothing there, or it's like a tennis ball or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just better with a prop, because it's something they can feel, they can touch, they can properly like emote with. It's just, I don't know.
So I gotta say, watching a lot of behind the scenes of this film, the way that they were able to get the actors to react to the raptors, to the Indominus, to any of the dinosaurs, they had a lot of people like dress up. So like they had people literally have like a raptor, like a half of a raptor head on their head, and they would do like the motions and all that, which I think is cool as hell. I would have loved to be a raptor. Call me up. Listen, I'm going to tell a really embarrassing story about myself when I was in elementary school. Kids would play tag. I created a game called the Raptor game. All right. Okay. Where literally it was like tag, but one person was the raptor and you would just chase everybody around. You have to stalk them. And then once you get them, they were just out permanently. I would have been, I was legit like doing all the motions of a velociraptor.
Hell yeah.
So I would have been perfect as one of these guys. But yeah, so for the Indominus, they also had like small, of course they had to have smaller versions of her, but they would put her in different places to kind of, for eyeline purposes. And also when they did the CGI, they actually had a program on like iPads where they could literally place the Indominus in certain spots, or like any of the CG dinosaurs in certain spots in the scene. So like they'd have Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard doing their thing, and like the dinosaur to be there. And if you had the iPad in a certain spot, you could see the dinosaur. So they knew exactly how they could shoot it. And I was like, that is super impressive. Instead of
you can work.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, just because, so they have, They're not just reacting to a tennis ball, like you said.
Yeah, but then also it also helps with scene placement.
Exactly.
So it's not like, all right, we're going to film it. Everything should be here, here, and here, and then we'll figure it out in post. You could just do it all right there.
Yeah, I got to say, Colin Trevorrow, from watching all the behind the scenes and watching interviews with him over the years talking about the Jurassic franchise, he's very passionate about it. And a lot of people, he's gotten a lot of flack over the years with this franchise, bringing it down and all that stuff. And it's like, you know what? It's a different time, and this is a very sacred franchise, especially the first two, in my opinion, or even just the original. This is a big deal. You're making a sequel to a blockbuster, or something that is sacred to a lot of people. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and a lot of people are going to be against you even before you even shoot one single frame. It's just how it works. I'm a Jurassic fan. I'm listen, as much as I talk shit about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which I will talk about next week, and who knows, maybe I'll watch it again. I just bought the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray came in today, so oh boy, I get to watch that sucker. But hey, you never know. I could watch it again and be like, you know what? It's not as bad as I thought the last time.
Well, I mean, I appreciate this movie more on this viewing, because it's been a while since I've watched it, so I could stew on it for a little bit. It's
definitely cheesy. I think there's a lot of things, like Angela was saying before, there's a lot of things that just could have been shortened or just cut completely. Like, why? And even after watching some of the deleted scenes, I was like, I'm glad they didn't put that in there, because it was unnecessary. And boy, Chris Pratt is great in some scenes and just very awkward in others, where it's like, why do you say that? Who says no one says these things. Like, why? Like the things he says to Claire, just like, why, man? Please stop. There was a lot of other actors, which, of course, I mean, as all film goes, when people audition for roles, there's always a lot of actors that come in to read for them. I believe like Jason Statham was an option, which Jurassic World with Jason Statham. I'm ready for it. Harrison Ford was actually set to star in this movie.
Just take the dinosaur.
But
Jason Statham?
It just takes it.
But Harrison Ford, he dropped out because of the poor reception from from Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I had heard that one was pretty bad.
It wasn't as good as the other three. Again, another franchise where it just should have stopped after the third film. Laura Dern was actually the only. So Spielberg had written a script for Jurassic Park 4 back in like the mid 2000s, and Laura Dern was actually the only returning cast member officially signed on. And then, of course, it dropped in like 2009. And then by the time Jurassic World came around, she was like, I'm good. I'm tired. That was what she said. She's like, I'm tired. But now she's returning for Dominion, so that's exciting.
Was that the script with the human dinosaur hybrids?
Oh my god! I thought that was supposed to be for Fallen Kingdom. Was that supposed to be for this?
No, it's supposed to be not for Jurassic Park. It was not for Jurassic World. It was for Jurassic Park 4. So, like, not long after 3. The guy mentioned, Clayton, whatever his name is, Fioria or whatever, he's got a really good video on it. Go watch it. It's very entertaining. It sounds incredibly stupid, and I'm glad it wasn't made. But yes.
Thank God. Oh, so the people considered for the role of Owen was Armie Hammer.
Okay.
Henry Cavill.
Okay. Please give him a mustache.
Glenn Howerton, which we've talked about on this show before. He was in The Strangers. He was the friend who gets his face blown off.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Jason Sudeikis. Josh Brolin. My pick, John Krasinski. Yeah.
He could have been good.
I thought he would have been. I think he would have been great. Especially what he did with the Quiet Place. Chris Pratt, of course, and then Jason Statham, which that would have just been weird as hell. I don't know if I could have.
Weird as fuck.
A lot of homages, a lot of, as you know, there's a lot of people who were involved with the Jurassic franchise that passed away before this film came out. Stan Winston, who did a lot of the special effects for the original 3, he passed away in 2008. So they paid tribute to him by there was a shop in the downtown of Jurassic World that's called Winston's.
Nice.
So yeah. Also Irfan Khan, who plays Masrani, he also passed away a couple years ago, I believe. He was also in The Amazing Spider-Man. He was in The Life of Pi. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was recently. I knew it was within the last couple years.
I liked him as an actor and what I saw him in.
Yeah, he was in The Life of Pi, Amazing Spider-Man. He always plays other than The Life of Pi, but I know in Amazing Spider-Man his character is very similar to Masrani because he's just he's the guy who owns the company or was like a big wig at whatever company he was at.
Yeah, last year.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he's also in Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah.
I remember when that came out. Everybody was
right.
like, Slumdog Millionaire.
I've actually never seen that film.
No.
So the character Lowry in the control room wears the same glasses as Nedry from Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lowry is a cool Nedry. He just gets shit on all the time.
Like I said, Jake Johnson, he's underappreciated, all right? He is Peter B. Parker in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is the best Spider-Man movie ever made.
Wait, who is he?
He is Peter B. Parker. So he's the Spider-Man who wears the sweatpants.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The one who teaches Miles how to be Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. I like that. It's good. I did not realize that.
Yeah, it was hilarious because they had Chris Pine. So Chris Pine played Spider-Man, the one who dies. Sorry, spoiler alert to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And so they got somebody who sounded very similar to him to be the alternate Spider-Man. So they, Jake Johnson. He sounds.
I wish it would have. They should have just got Tobey Maguire to do it. That's who it's supposed to be anyway.
No, we're just gonna get him in the new live-action Spider-Man.
Yeah, allegedly.
Nope, it's happening. All right, give it to us, people. Give it to us. Vince Vaughn was rumored to reprise his role from The Lost World, which would have been fucking awesome. Listen, I'm telling a lot of people. So, like I said before, my newest addition to my family he was named Owen, but I'm just gonna say he was named after Nick Van Owen because he's the cooler Owen.
That's true.
Listen, Chris Pratt, I like you, but Nick Van Owen's the better Owen.
Right.
I had to say it. Had to clarify all that. All right.
Your Owen is the cutest.
Yes. He is so cute.
He's a little potato man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was actually a scene drawn up of there was supposed to be an animatronic T-Rex at like the entrance of Jurassic World. Like when you go into the main street there, it was supposed to be like a big thing of an animatronic T-Rex. And there was supposed to be a scene where the Indominus goes up to the animatronic and it roars at her. And then she rips the head off of the animatronic.
Lame.
And it was supposed to be, and a lot of people were talking about how it was kind of like, oh, it's because, this is a sign that CG is taking over, those effects. And it was kind of too on the nose, and it was like, but we don't want to fully get rid of all that. We like the practical stuff. I think it would have been a cool visual thing to see, but I'm glad that they didn't put it in the movie. It just kind of would have been out of place.
Oh, absolutely. I think, actually, as far as that goes, something I do like is when they blend practical and digital effects.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they do you ever seen the movie Attack the Block?
I've never seen. No, I know what you're talking about. I've never seen it.
Give it a chance, because they take the suits that the characters wear, and they look like they do on screen, but they just make them look slightly better with the digital effects.
Is that the one with John Boyega?
Yes, it is. It's a good movie.
I think Nick Frost is in that too, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, the one who always with Simon Pegg.
Yep.
All right. I mean, there's a lot of IMDb's got a lot of trivia, and I do not.
You can go forever.
Have the time to go through all of this nonsense. So, if you guys want to know more trivia about this film, there's a lot of other podcasts where I'll talk about it, and just go to IMDb or just watch the film and watch the behind the scenes. We'll give you as much as I want to give you, okay? And then we're going to talk about the plot of this movie. And Angela, you're going to have to help me out because at a certain point, having a baby and having to do things while watching this movie, I stopped at a certain point. I don't know. I couldn't finish my notes.
I have my notes.
I did watch the whole movie, and I have Wikipedia to help me out. but you gotta some of the plot might not be in order. So here we go, people. You know how this show goes; it never goes smoothly. But you guys listen to it for some reason. Here we are.
Really
thank you, Serbia.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Serbia. Holy Christ. And thank you to everyone who watches the Jurassic Park 3 video, because that video is literally pushing 1,000 views.
Yeah, I see it's like 8 something.
Listen, Lost World is almost to 100 views, okay? Let's go.
Yes.
Everybody loves the Jurassic films, all right? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. The plot of Jurassic World. Oh, another thing before we start this. This is the first movie I brought my son to see in theaters.
And as I mentioned when we did the first Jurassic Park, just as a highlight or a recap, I was 6 years old going on to 7 when I watched Jurassic Park in theaters, and my eldest Victor was 6 years old going on to 7 when he saw Jurassic World in the theaters. So perfect time gap, nailed it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, my son was like 3. I don't know if he understood it when he watched it. He definitely watched it plenty of times after that. But yeah, it was the first movie I ever brought him to because he loved Jurassic Park at a very, very young age, which was great.
Yeah.
All right. Now we are starting the plot of this movie.
Let's talk about Dinsers.
All right. So the opening of this, of course, is you get that really cool, how all Jurassic Park movies start with that like very ominous, like very low to high. What are you laughing at?
No, it's something that happened while we were watching the movie. Keep going. I'll tell you here in just a second.
Oh, also,
not at you.
The music for this film was done by Michael Giacchino. He does a lot of Pixar films. He's done so many movies, but also John Williams' epic score is used as it needs to be. If it's a Jurassic film, that theme better be playing.
Yep.
But I have to shout out Michael Giacchino because he is a fantastic composer. Look him up. He's done a lot of amazing films. So yeah, so you get that very low to high ominous music in the beginning, but you open up to a couple eggs. And the eggs are hatching. And to be honest, I really like the visuals on this of the, it's like just the claws coming out. Now, here's the thing are these the Indos being born or are these raptors?
They look like they're the Indominus because after they break out of the eggs and then they focus on the one and it kind of like the arm and then you hear the roar, it's like the Indominus roar.
Okay. And I also realized the eye color was the same. It was the yellow. Like they had the yellow eyes, which they show a lot of close-up shots on the adult. Well, I don't know if you would call it an adult. It's probably not.
No, it's not fully grown.
Yeah, but you see a lot of close-ups of its eye, and it's the same color.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the title card. Yeah. And then you get a great shot, which when I remember seeing this in theaters and like, holy shit, they're going to just start off with a dinosaur where it's a close-up of the white, or it's snow, of course. And then you get the big boom of a foot, but it's just a bird. And you're like, oh shit, they got me.
That's what I was laughing at because we were watching it. My daughter was there and it transitioned to that. And then the bird came down and she's like, whoa, that dinosaur is big. And then it pans up to the bird. And she's like, oh, it's just a bird. It's just the way she said it. I was like, okay. Yes, it's just a bird. Oh, man.
And this is where we meet Zach and Gray and his parents. And they're going on vacation. And
it's Christmas. This is a Christmas movie, motherfuckers. This is a Christmas movie.
Wait, is it really? I didn't even notice that it was Christmas. I just thought it was winter.
It says this is for Christmas. It takes place on Christmas.
Okay, well, here we go. Early Christmas episodes for all of you.
Right?
What did you say? The Gray? What? The Viewmaster. You made mention.
At the very beginning when Gray, he's got one of the Viewmasters he's going through. Yeah. The pictures are like colorized shots from the original Lost World from 19.
It's like 30s.
1920, 28. It's pre-audio. It's old, and they're colorized ones because Willis O'Brien was.
Yeah, it was
let me get the exact.
Was it like Harry Harryhausen or something like that, or Harry?
It was Willis O'Brien. Willis O'Brien did Kong in a lot of those other original movies, and he taught Ray Harryhausen how to do stop motion.
Ray Harryhausen. All right, that's who I was thinking of. So yeah, it's vacation time. They're about to leave. Gray he's a very smart kid. There is a there was a theory around, I don't know, they never clarify it, of course, and I'm not going to go too far into it, but it was, a lot of people state that he has Asperger's. That's why he is the way he is. They never, they don't, I feel like they don't need to like go into it too much. You can kind of
Yeah.
either take it or leave it. But he's a very smart kid. He has a lot of knowledge in his head about different things, and some of the questions he asks throughout the film, it's like, okay, it's not a question. I think it's just not. It's
Most
just
people would ask.
right. Okay, I'm just trying.
I know. I was trying to think. I was trying to help you out.
Yeah.
It's 1925, by the way.
Okay.
Lost World was 1925.
And then we get Zach outside. He's saying goodbye to his girlfriend in the most awkward middle school way. It's funny because you're like, man, what a weirdo. And it's like, no, that's how middle school and early high school kids said goodbye, or like were around their girlfriends or boyfriends during those times. So I was like, okay, that fits.
Oh, by the way, Gray, his believed, like you said, Asperger's he has, was, like I mentioned in the original Jurassic Park, is inspired by the novelized version of Tim, because he's the same way with numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's a reference to that.
I know that Jurassic World took some of the pieces of the novel of Jurassic Park and implemented into this. I know like the interaction between Masrani and Wu, where they're talking about the Indominus and like, who authorized this? You did, but it's a different, instead of it being Masrani, of course, in the novel, it's between Wu and Hammond, which I thought was cool. I like how, like, well, we're going to take a lot of things that they didn't incorporate into the original film and kind of incorporate into our film, but just kind of change it up so it makes sense to this scenario, which I liked.
Yes.
So yeah, they're going to Jurassic World on vacation, but it's just Zach and Gray. The parents are staying back because they're having some marital problems that they got to figure out. And then you get I love it where he's just like, well, what does he say? Something about like this, so much for having like a final dinner together. And she's like, why would you say something like that?
It was breakfast.
Oh, right. I just love it. We get, this is where you get to the boat. Like they're going onto the boat and he asks like, how much does the island weigh? Which is one of those questions you're like, okay. Never thought I would ever have somebody ask that question, but okay. And they're going back to the OG island. Jurassic World is this is what Hammond envisioned for Jurassic Park and more. This is the first time in the Jurassic franchise that we finally get to see a finished park. And I think it was like opened in 2005, according to like trivia and from Colin Trevorrow stating that's like it's been open for like 10 years. That's why you get a lot of Claire going, oh, well, people are getting bored of dinosaurs. And when she says that, I'm like, who gets bored of dinosaurs? These are dinosaurs, man. But yeah, I know kids get bored of things fairly quickly.
Owen Grady mentions that later too.
Yeah.
He's like, they're dinosaurs. Wow enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're on the tram going into, or they get off the boat, and instead of it being their aunt who works at Jurassic World, it's a woman named Zara, and she works for Claire, who is their aunt. And they ride the tram, which is the new way of getting into the park. And they're both having a conversation. That's when you notice Zara is reading one of Ian Malcolm's books, because you can see his head on the back of the fold, as we stated in the beginning of the video. And that's when we get the epic, we get the new gate. In the original movie, they're driving the explorers into the Jurassic Park gate. Now we have the Jurassic World gate where the tram goes through, which I thought was pretty cool. But I love the visual of it in the second movie. So they're getting in there. They go to the hotel. They got like the cool like Disney like bands, the ones that let them like cut line and stuff, which is actually, it's just a ripoff of the bands you get from Disney World or Disneyland. It's the exact same thing. They just slap the Jurassic logo on it.
Hell yeah.
And we get I don't know if I really like the way that they used the John Williams theme for this part, where he opens up the doors or like out to the balcony, and it just shows the span of the park. But I understand it because it's finally showing that this is what we've been wanting for the last 20 years, to see a completed operating park. But then you get to see everything behind the scenes and how running an amusement park is not easy.
No, absolutely not.
We find that we meet Claire. Does Claire run into the kids before she's talking to herself in the elevator, or we meet her when she's in the elevator talking to the shareholder people?
We meet her in the elevator.
Okay, and she's talking about her. Yeah, she's talking about, she's saying her name a lot. Like, I'm Claire Denning, I think that's her name, or Deering, sorry. She is she is the head of operations at Jurassic World. She is the one who pretty much makes sure that the park is running smoothly, that new attractions are being put out there, and everybody's having a good time and they're making a lot of money. Well,
absolutely.
It's time for something bigger and with more teeth. And she talks to these shareholders about how people are getting bored of dinosaurs. Don't know how, but people are. And we need to make something new and scary. And what do they make? The Indominus Rex. It's bigger than the T-Rex, and it's made of many different dinosaurs. But it's classified, can't tell you what it is.
Exactly.
And that's when we get to see Wu for the first time since the original film. And he is looking sharp with his all black ensemble, looking good.
Look.
So Claire wears white, all white in this film, and it's actually a homage to John Hammond's attire in the original Jurassic Park, where he wears all white. And I love, to be honest, after watching this, Wu wasn't as terrible as I remember from watching this back in the day, where I was kind of giving a lot of shit in early videos, like, why would they make him turn so fast? But he's just doing what he's told. And to be honest, he's he might be taking advantage of the things that Miss Ronnie is allowing from him. And he might, and of course he's getting paid a lot of money to do these shady things, especially when you later find out that he's working with Hoskins to create dinosaurs to use in the military.
Well, yeah, I mean, even back in the Jurassic Park 3 episode, we talked about the things he did in between this film and Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World, where he always wanted to create his own life form. That's when he made that plant, and when he ended up helping with Ms. Ronnie do the experiments with the dinosaurs in Isla Sorna, the amalgam experiments, which led to him being here. While, yes, this is something he wants to do, at the end of the day, Wu wants to do what Wu wants to do. Like, he wants to make life. He's the person that wants to do this stuff. This is his life, his work, everything he's worked for. So, I mean, but again, that's why he's willing to do whatever it takes, and he does, I feel, more reason why he does what he does later in the film.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, he doesn't give a shit who's giving him the money, as long as somebody's giving him money to do what he wants to do. So, go ahead. He
enjoys the science, but he doesn't want to take the responsibility for what the science ends up doing.
Yep.
Which is funny, because he states it to Miss Ronnie about how, what do you think we're doing up here? Like, what do you think, we're mad scientists? Is like, you are. In retrospect, you are a mad scientist. You are creating all of these creatures and not understanding what the repercussions are going to be. Like, even when he finds out the Indominus escaped and it's killing people, he's kind of just like, he's more shocked by what the Indominus can do than what the Indominus is going to do. Like, oh shit, it camouflaged? Huh, interesting. Oh, it hid behind it hid itself from thermal imaging? What? Crazy. You're like, but people are dying. Maybe you should be more concerned about that. But he continues being a piece of shit in the next one too. So fun. Wu's fun.
He wants to have all the fun without the consequence.
Exactly. Zach and Gray hang out at the Welcome Center, and that's when they finally see Claire for the first time. And clearly she has only seen these kids a few times. And she even states it later in the movie that she's only, seen them a few times in her life. Actually, I think that was part of one of the deleted scenes where she talks about how she's only seen the kids like 3 times in their entire lives.
That doesn't surprise me.
Because even when
she's married to her work.
Yep, exactly. And she works on an island. It's not like she can just like go hang out with them whenever she can. She literally lives on this island, which is in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
She So she's really busy. She can't hang out. The kids are expecting her to be bringing them around the park, but she's busy. She's got to go make sure the park is running. She goes up to the control room, and that's when we meet. I got to figure out what her name was in the movie.
Vivian?
Vivian?
I think it's...
Yes, it's Vivian. Yep, Vivian and Lowry.
Yep. Yeah, she was in Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, she's been in some weird, wacky, like Adam Sandler produced movies too on Netflix.
Oh boy.
I was like, I remember where I saw her from. I was like racking my brain trying to remember. I was like, oh yeah.
So we meet those two characters. They're like the only people that talk in the control room. And we got Lowry, who is great because he's wearing a Jurassic Park shirt. And we get
vintage.
Vintage, $300. Damn. Yeah, like that park was legit. That is literally what he says, and it's great.
But we talk about how much the shirt costs. Do you know how much money a person in his position probably makes?
Yeah. That's
like working at a control center of an amusement park like that. You know how much money he probably gets paid? Probably a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he can afford a few $300 t-shirts.
She's like,
is that bad taste?
Bad taste.
So we get Lowry, like we were stating before, he's wearing the glasses that Nedry wears in the original film. Also, his desk is very he's got a lot of stuff going on his desk, but it's more organized, unlike Nedry's. But so it's kind of like a cleaner Nedry, and a nicer Nedry. He's about like, even like at the end of the film, he's more about helping than Nedry, where he's like, money, steal stuff, I'm out of here. Gotta go.
Yeah.
Which is great. And yeah, I mean, and anybody who is a fan of New Girl out there, he is literally Nick Miller, who works at Jurassic World. That's his character from New Girl.
Oh,
He's fantastic. So Claire then gets to go on a helicopter ride with the man himself, Masrani, played by Irfan Khan. And he's learning how to fly the helicopter with an instructor. And the funniest thing is, they're having this conversation on the helicopter about how, pretty much Miss Ronnie is making it out like, yay, everything's good, it's fine. Why are you stressing so much? He's like, 'cause I have to make sure this shit runs. Like, you're over here flying around a helicopter, making buttloads of money, and I gotta make sure your park runs flawlessly. And I love it when they land and then the flight instructor gets out and throws up. My wife's like, but he's the flight instructor. Why is he throwing up? And why isn't Claire throwing up? Like, everybody should be getting a little woozy, but okay. I was like, it's because they wanted to put something amusing in there, and no one laughed.
I didn't think it was amusing. I was like, that guy's just got a weak stomach. Maybe you shouldn't be an instructor.
Yeah. So we find out where they're going. They're flying to to go visit the new dinosaur, the Indominus Rex. And we get the cool shot where they're inside the viewing area, and they get to see, like, you can see her behind the brush. You kind of just see like the top of her body and her eye, which this is where you get your first close up of her eye.
Mm-hmm.
Also get how she was trying to break out. Like, there was the glass that was kind of shattered or was like cracked right by her head. It's like, what happened to that? Oh, she tried to break the glass. Well, no shit. We get a better interaction in this enclosure later in the film, but we pretty much, it's just them explaining about, like, this is what you guys wanted. You wanted the wow factor, and this is what you're going to get. So Miss Ronnie then tells Claire about Owen Grady, and she clearly knows who he is. Mm-hmm. But he states that he was a Navy man who is here, and he wants his opinion on the Indominus before they put it out for the public. And this is where we get to visit the Raptors. And to be honest, I hate the Raptors in these movies.
Rap time.
I love the original Raptors, even from Jurassic Park 3. I really like the Raptors, and I just don't like it. But I understand the relationship that I like the relationship between Owen and Blue. And some of the, I don't know. I think it's just the CG. I did not like the looks of the Raptors.
The Raptors for me were fine until about a little over halfway through the movie, and I was like,
I think I'm just being too hard on them. They were fine.
We had the jump the shark moment.
Yes, I get what you're saying. So Owen is training them, and he he's got like the clicker and he's throwing food to him and doing things. And that's when we meet Hoskins, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. He is just a dick. And he works for InGen. Well, yes, InGen is still part of this universe. He is like so InGen is literally like the military division of Miss Ronnie's company. Because I'm guessing, so Hammond owned InGen. InGen was the company that founded, or that was the money was being used to create Jurassic Park. Hammond sold InGen to Miss Ronnie to before he died. And I think InGen just turned into like the military division of Miss Ronnie's company.
Seems that way, yeah.
Because to be honest, I really never looked too far into it, and I know some people probably have.
Either.
I don't know what InGen primarily what their purpose was before. All I know is that Hammond owned it.
Well, InGen was the entirety of the company in the last 3 movies. It's like International Genetics.
Oh, okay.
Is what it was short for, and that's where it all came from. But like you said, I think InGen ended up becoming more of like a militarized security division, and then they like took all the genetic engineering to another sector of Ms. Ronnie Corporation, and just took the asses when he bought it. I have no. I'm just guessing. I have no clue. But there is a military division within the company associated with InGen. So
gotcha. So Hoskins is talking to Owen about, hey, we want to put these raptors into the field. We want to weaponize them, and he's like, hell no. And as all this is going on, the new guy is trying to wrangle up a pig in the enclosure, and
pig on the loose.
Yep.
Just let it get eaten, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would just let it get eaten?
The kid gets pulled in, and that's when Owen has to go in there and do his thing where he goes up and he's like, I see you, Blue, or whatever. He's talking to them all, trying to get them to back up, and you get the awesome raptor noises as they're getting aggressive towards them, and the kid escapes, and that's when you get the awesome. Like he rolls in there and they all crash into the gate, and then he's talking to the kid and he's like, never turn your back to the cage. And that's when you get the one raptor who's just like, he's got his fucking nose through the thing, just like growling at him. And then he's like, all right, I'm out.
They held on that shot for too long.
Yeah.
When he crashes, when he rolls through and the gate goes down, I think it should have just been like he rolls through and like it just, whatever, just make it slam quickly and then they hit it. But it's like he rolls, and it's like way too long in between. It need to be quicker.
Because they would have been quicker.
Karen calls Zach and figures out that Claire isn't with them, which makes her sad. Zara.
What?
And that's when you hear about Zara, like when they're at the petting zoo, which is cute. You get the baby dinosaurs, they get to ride them, which is cool. But you hear Zara in the background. She's talking to somebody about her wedding. She's planning her wedding, which makes her death so much worse. Which I never picked up on any prior film or any prior viewings of this film. And we get Owen, Claire is going to see Owen, and she gets a call from Karen, and she's like, she starts crying because they're going through some stuff, and she never gets to see him. It was kind of a pointless conversation that I did not enjoy, even this recent. Yeah, I don't care.
It's trying to make her seem like she needs to give more shit about her nephews.
Right. Don't worry, she does later on when worse
less
things
about
happen.
your work.
Yeah.
Right.
But then we get more awkwardness when Claire gets to Owen's and they're having the weird conversations, and that's when Owen says stupid shit. Like dinosaurs, they just want to eat, and they just want to. I hated it. Come on, bro. Like he's just being slimy, gross. Stop it, Owen. But yeah, so Claire pretty much wants Owen to go visit the wants to go see the new dinosaur.
Yeah, he's supposed to inspect the paddock.
Right. Okay, that's what he was doing.
Vulnerabilities.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So he wanted to go consult with her in his bungalow.
Oh yes, which is another awesome thing to say to somebody.
That's later when they stick together.
Yeah. For survival.
Yeah. It's just an awkward conversation. Zach and Gray, they go to the Mosasaurus, and they look like they're having a lot of fun. And we get
finally, Zach finally looks like he starts having some fun. He's like, put your fucking phone down and watch this dope-ass aquatic reptile.
Yeah. And you get the Mosasaurus is getting fed a great white shark, which they actually shot this, and Colin Trevorrow was nervous that that Steven Spielberg was going to think they were kind of like poking fun at Jaws. But Steven loved it because he was going to remove it. And Steven's like, no, leave it in there. It's cool. It's kind of like an homage. Like you're paying homage to Jaws. Not, I didn't feel insulted by it, which I thought was really cool.
Yep.
Mosasaurus is cool as hell. It's probably one of the coolest dinosaurs in this fucking movie. Is it considered a dinosaur? No, okay. See, that's why I had to ask. That's why I had to ask.
I was about to no!
So wait, so does a dinosaur, what's the definition of a dinosaur? It has to be on land?
No, not necessarily. Dinosaurs, it's their hip structure, because their hips are more like birds, right?
Right. Okay.
Okay. So think of it this way: it's like if somebody came up to you and said, "A dog is the same thing as a bear," is it?
No.
No. Exactly.
Okay. All right. See, I had to ask. I said what I said, and then I had to make sure I asked the expert here to make sure.
I'm not an expert. I'm just a fickle little whiny baby.
It's the coolest creature in this movie. It
is way too big. It is way too big.
But were Mosasaurus not that big?
They were large, but they weren't that big. Even apparently compared to the one in Fallen Kingdom.
No, it was the same
one. Even bigger. It's bigger.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's growing. It's growing. Yeah. It's got to get bigger.
But they're like, I think the largest mosasaur is like 40 or 50 feet long, and I think in this film it's like 60 to 70 feet.
That's a big.
But that could be from this. That could be from the whole genetic splicing.
Right. Yeah. Just the way
which they explain. Which they explain because they didn't make the mosasaur. You can't make the mosasaur off of mosquito DNA.
Right.
Because there's no mosquitoes in the water. Right. So there was a different kind of procedure they found, which had something to do with rust or iron deposits in aquatic reptiles when they fossilize or something like that. Is how they managed to get a DNA sequence out of that, and that's how they came back. Or that's how they explain in like deep lore how they came back to it.
That's interesting.
It's not. Go ahead.
So Claire and Owen get to the enclosure, and she, Claire's telling Owen about like, hey, what's it called? She calls him the Indominus Rex.
The Indominus Rex. We had to think of a name that was scary. We had to think of it was scary and that little kids could pronounce. Something was easy to pronounce. You ever heard a little kid say Archaeornithomimus? You ever heard yourself say, or you ever listened to yourself say it?
It's literally the scene.
Yeah.
So they go inside, and where is it at? And That's
a great scene.
Owen is telling Claire, he's like, has she ever been outside of this? Like, does she know? Is this all she knows? And literally, the only interaction she has with anything is with the crane that brings down her food. That's not life. And so she's curious about what's on the other side of that wall, and they can't find her on the thermal imaging, and everybody's freaking out because everything is just like, where's she at? And that's when Owen's like, were those scratches there before? And it's just scratch marks all the way up this wall. It's terrifying. You can actually go to Hawaii where they filmed this movie, and they actually have this enclosure with the scratch marks on it.
Do they still have it up?
Yeah, it's part of like the tour that you can take. A guy I know just went there within the last month.
Oh, absolutely, I want to go. I like. One thing I do like that they incorporate in this movie, because it was. I used to work in an animal behavior lab. Is animal behavior. Is like, I think that's interesting. Like where he talks about like bonding and building relationships, interacting with other creatures in their environment, like with the raptors and with Indominus being separated and only knowing food is the only positive stimuli. This crane and its life, and even mentions creatures raised in captivity don't always turn out well.
Right.
So
this is what this is just seeing confuse the shit out of me. So she leaves. She's like, I gotta go see Control to see where it is. She calls Control, who tells her that it's still there. Why is she driving?
Just walk outside, make a phone. Where's the dinosaur at?
And also, for safety reasons, why are all three people inside the enclosure? There's not one person on the outside. Why is Big Boy not up in the freaking thing just in case? Oh, shit. Get out.
Why did they not verify her location before they even went the fuck in the enclosure?
There was zero need for them to be in there. 100%.
No, all
I would have been
like, stay.
Nope. You tell me, make sure she's in there. If she's not in there, why the fuck are they in there? Like, it's so stupid.
It is. It does make for a good scene,
yes.
but it's really dumb how they got there.
Oh, it's so stupid, though. So stupid.
Not the first time this happens in this movie, mind you.
No. Where am I here?
Oh, like when they're in the room with the glass and she's like tapping on the window.
Why did you tap on the damn window? It's not a fish tank.
So they find out. So Lowry verifies, nope, she's still in there. And like, well, there's people in there. What? Why are there people in there? So they got to run. We get
and then there's random interference. Like, I can't hear you. There's interference. Why is there interference?
Of course there is.
Why?
So, of course, the Indo comes out of nowhere. It chases one technician down, eats him up, and you get the
gobbles
cool,
him. Right
yeah, and you get the cool. It's like you don't see him. You just see her crunch down, and you see the blood kind of spray through the foliage.
Yeah, they did a good job of like partially obscuring her through most of the scene.
Yes,
like, you don't really see the full shot.
Yeah. And so the one guy somehow outran Chris Pratt and gets to the door to unlock it.
Oh, no, the big guy?
Yeah. Did he run beforehand?
Well, no. They ran. They started running, and the big guy's like, fuck this, and like turns around and starts opening the gate. Like, he didn't even get that far from the gate they were by.
Oh, okay.
Those guys were already bolted. That's why.
All right. So he opens the gate, and they tell him to close. They tell him to close the gate, but Owen's still running. And he slides through, but guess what? Not in time for that door to close because the Indo smashes through. And I love the sound of the locking mechanism as it's trying to close. It's like trying to close, and then it just kind of rips the door open. I love it.
Yeah.
Such a
cool... you can see the Indominus react when the door kind of closes on its body. It's just like...
Yeah, and you can hear that mechanism, which is fucking great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and by the way, it should be noted that Maserati is the one that's telling them to close it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was talking about
close it.
Yep, he's a dick. So we get outside and the Indo escapes, and we have Big Boy. I'm sorry, he's just, I don't know this guy's name. I just know him as like that's his title. He's a bigger guy. He hides behind a truck, or he hides in front of this like repair truck, and Owen slides under, which is the coolest slide. Did you see the slide, man? He's just like slid perfectly into that truck. It was great.
Nailed it.
And he just watches the dude as he's like peeking. I love where he's like peeking around the corner, and you just see the tail of the Indo. Yeah. And that's when the Indo rips the truck up into the air, and it crashes next to Owen, and Owen can see him through the window. And it's just the guy just accepting his fate. He's fucked.
Yeah.
He's just like, and literally that's what you could read. You could read his mind. He's going, fuck, and just gets nommed on. And that's when Owen decides to grab the fuel line out of the truck, cut it, douse himself in gasoline to hide his smell. And good that's when you get the really cool shot of the Indominus kind of peeking under the truck and, trying to find him, but she can't smell him because he smells like gasoline. And this is where I thought they could have used a practical head, but we got what we got. And it is what it is.
They do mention that in the Indominus, I'm sure she knew he was there because the Indominus has the heat pits like snakes and can detect heat, thermal signatures. But I was telling, me and Angel were talking about that. Anybody that has ever fueled a vehicle up in their life should know fuel is extremely potent smelling.
Yeah.
And like, she probably is like, I'm not dealing with this, and just went on her way.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure she knew he was there. She wasn't like, oh, there's nothing here.
So
not necessarily that she didn't know that he was there, but like they have really sensitive smellers. So I would have thought that she would get a whiff of that, but also get a whiff of, because he's going to be sweating, so he's going to be putting off
but just
pheromones.
Think of it this way. I'm going to put this in the bluntest way as possible. You ever had a bad smell in your house and you smell a strong deodorizer over it?
Yeah.
Same thing. Or you light a candle to mask or you go in the bathroom. Some people will light a match. And that sulfur smell, the gasoline will overpower everything.
So the Indo is now going towards the park, and Claire is like, well, if it gets too close to the park, it's going to shock it. It's like,
yeah,
because that's going to work.
4 miles. It's got 4 miles to the closest.
Right. So so that's when everybody's trying to figure out what to do. And they're like, we're just going to send ACU, which is Asset Control Unit, with non-lethals to go stop the Endo. This all works out great, huh?
Fantastic.
It all goes great.
It all goes pear-shaped.
We get the really awkward conversation of Zach and Gray on the tram talking about how, Gray's all upset because his parents are going to get divorced. And Zach's like, no, they're not. And you just get that whole thing. Gray's crying about it, all that stuff.
Or you found out the two letters from different attorneys and their divorce attorneys, and Gray looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach's just being, a teenage older brother. He's like, you get two of everything.
Yeah.
Gray's like, I don't want two of everything.
But the way he tried to console him, you're going to cry about it?
Look how Victor does it.
I know.
Seriously, really. He's an older teen that doesn't understand, and he doesn't know.
You
don't have to be
my 9-year-old son is like that to my 6-year-old. Like he's very blunt with her.
Yeah, just fusses and his only reaction is, when you confront him about something, his reaction is to be defensive or snappy. It's teenagers.
And Gray notices the ACU trucks driving in the distance towards where they need to go. Claire goes back to the control and tries to get the situation under control. I said control twice in that sentence. Yay. Owen shows up. Owen shows up and tells everybody that the Indo is doing this because she doesn't know any better. She's never seen anything outside of her enclosure. This is all new. And she is just doing what she was created to do.
And with her being a new species, they don't really know what she's going to do. There's no precedent.
Exactly. And she doesn't even know what she's going to do because she's, like he was saying, she's seeing everything for the first time. She's trying to find her place in the food chain. Mm-hmm. And of course, people are to blame because they created this thing. Mm-hmm. ACU is wandering around the forest trying to find the Indo, and they get ambushed because she can camouflage. Oh, and it just starts
Another novel reference.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that in one of the other episodes.
The Carnotaurus did it in the Lost World novel.
Right. So now we find out the Indo can camouflage, it can avoid thermal detection, and it can remember where they put the tag in its body because she rips that thing out.
Yep.
Owen advises them to shut down the park, and he gets kicked out of there. And but that's when you get the great line where Owen goes up to Masrani and goes, "You better, I would have a word with the people in the lab." And Masrani kind of is like, "Okay, I guess I should go talk to Wu."
Well, another thing there is it kind of reinforces Masrani's position on it because he even tells them, he's like, you need to get live ammunition. You need to kill this thing because it's just going to kill everybody. It's going to kill all this ACU. It's not going to work. And he him having some military training and, of course, knowing, at least from the raptors, how these animals behave, he kind of has a better idea than most of those people in there because they're more administrative and, operations specialists. But anyhow, but that's just Masrani not we got $23 million in that asset. It's all about, even though he's earlier in the movie said it's not about the money, at the end of the day for him, it's about the money.
Right. Masrani goes.
Claire is in charge.
Yeah.
But go ahead, sorry.
So, and then, of course, before Owen leaves, he knocks over Lowry's dino display, little dino toys.
Poor Lowry, dude. What did he do to you?
Zach and Gray go to the gyrospheres just as the ride gets closed down. Steven Spielberg was actually the one who came up with the idea for the gyrosphere, which is really cool.
There's some cool scenes with it.
Gotta love that Steven had a lot of input in these films, even though he's not the director, which I appreciate. Hoskins is notified of the Indo escape, and InGen then moves in because he's got that smiley grin. People are dying. Happy times. All right, Hoskins, relax, dude. Masrani, then he goes down and talk to Wu. And this is when you get the weird thing, as much as Wu is a piece of shit, he's proved, he's not wrong about a lot of the things he's stating to Masrani. You told me to do these things. You're the one who told me to do this. You wanted it to be scarier, more teeth, which this won't be the last time we hear that goddamn phrase.
Nope.
Need more teeth.
This scene was fine. The later scene, I'm like, oh, come on. It's just dumb.
I know.
But yeah, so he's like, listen, you told me to do this. So you can't be coming to me and telling me I did something wrong when it was on you.
I like the interaction between them because he's like,
It's
I
very
didn't
good.
tell you to make a monster. And he's like, monster's a relative term. To a mouse, a cat is a monster. Or something along the lines. Canary.
To a canary, a cat's a monster.
Yeah.
We're just used to being the cat.
Yeah. We're just used to being the cat. I like
Well,
that.
and technically I blame both of them because this is Wu diverting the blame.
Oh yeah.
Because this is just diverting the blame because admittedly he is doing what he's told. My biggest problem is Mizrani owns the company, but they will not tell him what's in this dinosaur.
Yep.
He owns this company.
Yep.
And they will not tell him what the fuck's in this.
But
that
you know
is a
why
problem.
They won't.
They won't tell him what is in this. And even he also mentions why the dinosaurs aren't accurate because he even says they filled the gene gap. And if it was pure DNA, the dinosaurs all of them would look much different. Because I love Jurassic Park, but most of the dinosaurs aren't not very accurate. I mean, they are, but they aren't in some aspects. So they've got a lot of shrink wrapping and shit going on. So they got something with their wrists. What the fuck is the term? I'm trying to think. There's something with their wrists. Pronated. I don't know specifically what it means, but there's something in the way their wrists are turned. All the Jurassic Park bipedal dinosaurs are like this, and I don't think it's necessarily accurate.
Like that.
The dinosaurs' wrists.
They all go
up and down.
This.
They all go this way.
Up and down vertically.
Yeah.
When there would be some that would be rotated in, they're all like that.
They're all
right.
Which is not necessarily accurate. Oh, and also another fact about gene splicing. This is all going back about stuff you mentioned about the novel, because the original Jurassic Park novel has a lot more to do with the gene splicing aspect. Obviously, the raw science of these. And I like this movie for the fact that they bring more of the raw science into it that was ignored in like 2 and 3 for the most part. Not even just from a genetics, but like the animal behavior side of everything. But one thing is you notice the Indominus Rex has opposable thumbs.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Because when that first ACU dude, he grabs him, finger out, thumb.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. He's got him in his hand. Yeah.
And if you go through, you can find a list of all the dinosaurs that were used for the Indominus. However, the thumb is the only thing that can't be explained why it has an opposable thumb. Because there's no dinosaur out of those that are listed that have an opposable thumb like that. In fact, I don't think any dinosaur has an opposable thumb.
It's very interesting.
Anyway, carry on.
Claire finds out that Zach and Gray are still out in the gyrosphere, so she entrusts Owen to help her. This isn't where we get the Dilophosaurus hologram. That was earlier in the film, but I wanted to mention it. It's actually
it's at the end. It's at the end of the movie.
That's right, because it's supposed to it interacts with the raptor. So okay, then we'll talk about that when we get to that scene. So she asks, she's like, listen, my nephews are out there, and I love when she says, like, oh, how old are they? Well, one's like this big, and then one's a couple of years younger. He's like that. He's like, you don't know how old your nephews are? Like, and she's pretty like, no, I don't. Zach and Gray, they encounter some veggie dinos in the field. They get to see some really cool, like the Triceratops and the Stegos and a lot of other dinosaurs, which is great. And is this where Owen and Claire, they're driving and they discover the dead Apatosauruses?
Not yet. They need to get. This is Owen and Gray. They go off road first, then they find the Apatosaurs, right?
Yeah, because he's like, we can stay out a little longer.
Yeah, does Gray and Zach get attacked by the Endo first?
Owen, Zach. Is that what the order they're in?
Yeah, I think so. I think they get attacked. They discover the Apatosauruses, then they discover the gyrosphere, right?
They're in the gyrosphere. They see all the they're with the Triceratops and all that stuff in the field, and then they find that one gate that's ripped open, which is clearly from the Indominus or something. That's ripped the part of the field to the old section open, and Zach's just doing what he can to try to make Gray happy, cheer him up. So he's like, "Yeah, let's go off road. You know, we got VIP passes, man." And then they go back in the woods, and he finds all those ankylosaurs in the trees.
Yes.
And is that when they get attacked?
Yeah, because he's like,
dinosaurs are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought you were good at math. There's only 4 dinosaurs. Yeah. No, he's like, there's 5. And that's when they get attacked.
Yep. You get the great reflection of the Indo.
In the back, it's there the whole time, and like I never noticed it until like I thought it just kind of shows up during the scene, but it's literally there the whole time.
So I love the attack scene between the Indo and the Ankylosaurus. Because it's exactly what a predator does to like a turtle. The turtle's soft spot is its stomach, so you have to turn it on its back, and that's the same thing with an Ankylosaurus, is they have all that armor on the top and they're vulnerable on the bottom, and so the Indo knows, it's super smart. It knows how to. Its hunting instinct is so strong. It literally slices at the leg, flips it over, and then starts devouring it. But then it turns its focus on the gyrosphere, and that's when it like opens its mouth so wide, and it grabs it, and its teeth, go into it, and it starts to pick it up and smash it into the ground. Yeah. And how Zach and Gray were able to get out of that, I'm still questioning it to this day.
It's a cool scene though, but I agree.
It is a cool scene, and the fact that they outran the Indo was pretty crazy.
Well, I mean,
we talked about this in Jurassic Park 3 too. Like,
well, actually, that's that scene you mentioned when they run out of the woods away from it, and the Indo comes after them, and they're kind of running through the open field, and the Indo comes out of the trees, kind of looks, sees it, and then goes after. It reminds me of the Spinosaurus scene, from 3.
It looks like the same exact spot. It looks like the same exact spot.
I was like, hey.
Yeah. So they have to jump into the river from a cliff, which was cool. I love when the Indo is trying to peek over and it's on all fours. And it's like peeking over the side, trying to see. It's like a dog. It's like trying to like, where's the toy? Where's the fun? Like, I think I appreciate the Indominus every time I watch this movie. I think it's got a really cool design. The sound of it is really cool. I love how it's white, and even I love it because Masrani even states that it's like, oh, it's white. I didn't know that's what it was going to look like.
Well, and especially another thing I know of note in this scene I like is actually smart, big brain move as far as movies go. They both jump into the water, and Zach pulls on Gray to keep him to hold up. Don't go up yet. Wait under the water longer.
Yeah.
So give him time, which is like, whoa, holy shit! Somebody's thinking today.
Smart kids, man. These kids are smart. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We So this is when they discover the dead Apatosauruses, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is the only scene we get practical effects.
Yeah.
They hold the dying Apatosaurus's head in their hands. You get Claire kind of changing her tune about things because she was just like, they're animals. She's very kind of deflecting everything. Like, they're just big dumb animals. Where now she's appreciating like, oh shit, this is bigger than we all thought.
They're assets.
Yeah, they were just assets. Kind of compartmentalizing things.
Right. So they discover those. Then they discover the broken gyrosphere. They discover Zach's broken phone, and she thinks the worst. But they figure out that they escaped, that they jumped into the river, and they could be still alive.
Oh, I love it. She's like, well, you can find him. You can track him, right? And he's like, I was in the Navy, not the Navajo.
Is this when Zach and Gray find Jurassic Park?
Yeah, the original visitor center.
So they go into that. You get the big nostalgia for anybody who's seen the original. You get him picking up the banner that falls down when the T-Rex roars at the end. When dinosaurs ruled the earth?
Yep.
We get the bones from the fossils that were hanging there in the opening. We get the cool mural that has the raptor that in the original film, the raptor was like walked behind it, which is really cool. And that's great. That's the one that Zach touches too.
Yep.
And then they go into a garage and we get to see the old Jeeps and
raincoats.
Yeah. The raincoats. We got the night vision goggles.
Yep.
Which is really cool. But also, so these cars have probably been sitting here for 22 years. You're easily just going to switch out the batteries and get this thing running?
Well,
and where did this battery come from? This battery, and also that battery looked like it was for like a go-kart, not for a fucking car. Okay?
I think they got the battery from the wrecked side-by-side. Because remember, right before they found the visitor center, There was the helmet that was slashed open, the hat for somebody that worked for Jurassic World, and there was like the side by side that was wrecked. It was back there in the tree. So and then which explains where they got the battery, but that still does not explain the fact that these are all fuel injected Jeeps. Those injectors, fuel pumps, fuel lines, brake lines, that stuff would in a humid environment like that would probably be eaten away, corroded, gunked up. The fuel would be fucking ruined. You could not drive these vehicles. Yeah, dude, remember when we got Grandpa's old Malibu running? Well, that's different. It's not the same. You were not in the middle of the woods.
Oh man, so good. It was stupid, but you know what? It had to progress the plot, so we had this. All right, nostalgia.
Yeah.
So they get that going. They drive away, and right as that happens, pretty much that's when Claire and Owen show up, and they're like, "Oh shit! How did this happen? How did they get this going?" And that's when the Indo also shows up to say hello. And crashes through the roof, and you get the really cool thing where they have to run, and the other Jeep just slams into the wall. All practical, by the way. They actually took that Jeep and slammed it up against the wall, which is
I did that. That was actually there's not a whole lot of jump scares in the movie, but that one I thought was good because it like sticks its head in and then goes away. And like, good. And there's like that long period you think it's gonna pop right out and then it comes through the ceiling. Oh, yeah. It's good.
And that's when they have to run. They run through the visitor center. They run out the front door, and the Indo just bulldozes its way through.
Crushes the T-Rex skull that's in there.
Yeah. Oh, that's what that was. Okay.
Yeah. And then the helicopter goes overhead, and the Indominus is like, "Whoa, what's that?" and follows the helicopter.
Oh, right. Is this the one that Masrani's flying, where they strap the machine gun to, which we didn't mention? Owen actually tells them, "Hey, you should do this." But you guys got a big old gun strapped to a helicopter and shoot this thing. And Miss Ryan's like, I can do it. And you're like, but you probably shouldn't.
You got trained people there that can fly for you, I'm sure.
I can't find your instructor.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other people that can fly it.
So they are chasing the Indo down. They're shooting at it. And they're heading towards the aviary. Oh, boy. If you thought the birdcage scene in Jurassic Park 3 was crazy, you haven't seen the Jurassic World aviary scene. Woo! We get the Indo literally just full-fledged bulldozing through this fucking wall into the aviary. It starts roaring, tries getting everybody all stirred up, and that's when the pterosaurs start coming out and they start hitting the helicopter and causing destruction, and that's when Masrani's helicopter crashes, and R.I.P. But you get the really cool scene when the helicopter crashes and you got the explosion behind the Indominus as it's running towards the screen, towards the camera, which is fantastic.
Cool guys don't look at explosions, dude.
Nope. So this is when Claire and Owen are in they're pretty far from the aviary, but they see everything happen. But they also see like the skies turning dark as all of the So there was Pteranodons, and what was the other one? Dimorphodons.
Yep, that's correct, sir.
Which those things are terrifying.
Yeah, right?
They're tiny, but they're scary. So they're flying towards everybody, and that's when we get everybody is like huddled up on Main Street in Jurassic World, and that's when we hear the announcing voice talking about how there is a breach in one of the enclosures.
A containment anomaly.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, that sounds terrifying. So all the pterosaurs and the dimorphodons are flying towards the park where everybody is all huddled in Main Street, and we get the chaotic. Just everybody is scrambling around. We get the Jimmy Buffett cameo running with his margaritas, and that's when Owen and Claire and the kids the kids show up with the Jeep, and they're running through, and they're avoiding all the things. People are getting picked up. And this is when Zara has the worst death in this franchise. She gets picked up by one Pteranodon, gets flung, and then she gets dropped. Another Pteranodon picks her up, flies her over the mosasaur enclosure, or tank. Sorry, it's an aquatic animal. And again, it it drops him into the water, and it starts to dive bomber.
Yeah.
And then that's when the mosasaur comes out and grabs her and a pteranodon at the same time. And god damn.
Well, she's
horrific.
Like, the pteranodon's gonna get crushed. Like its like neck pretty much got broken when it clamped its jaw shut. She is further back.
Oh yeah.
So she's gonna be smashed by the top and lower of the roof.
Yeah.
Or she's just gonna asphyxiate.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shit way to go.
It's a horrifying death. Cool fact though is that Katie McGrath, who plays Zara, she did all of her own stunts.
Oh, it's cool.
Really? Hell yeah, dude. Kudos for her.
Which was great. So yeah, it's just she's dead. And Owen and Claire show up and they're Owen's got his tranquilizer gun and he starts shooting all the flying creatures. And we get the cool scene where one of the pteranodons gets shot and it falls to the ground and its beak comes really close to stabbing Gray in the face. And then a Dimorphodon gets on the back of Owen and starts attacking him. And that's when Claire shoots it like 5 times. And
I think he's dead.
Yeah, and then Owen gets up and they kiss. And clearly things are still happening around them, but they are super chill. And they're like, we gotta go. And they're like, what? Why are we not freaking out more? Okay. Crazy.
Right?
So since Masrani is dead, Hoskins is now in control of everything. He orders, he is now like, the raptors are mine. So I am going to use them as I please. So he uses them. He's going to use them to track down the Indominus. And Owen is like, fuck you are. And he's like, well, listen, I don't care what you think. You're either going to help me or get the fuck out. So Owen decides to help him.
Here comes that jumping the shark moment.
So, so they're getting the raptors ready. And, Owen talks about how he's the alpha of the raptors. And so they hook him up with the cameras. And then that's when Owen's on his motorcycle, vroom, vroom. And he's gonna drive through the fucking jungle with the raptors running alongside him. Vroom, vroom.
This was supposed to be in Jurassic Park 2 and 3.
It's dumb as fuck. It's dumb as fuck.
They said earlier in the movie, Owen Grady himself said when Hoskins. I'll get it eventually. Hoskins, right? That's great. Haagen-Dazs.
There you go.
He's gonna have all kinds of names.
When Hoskins says that when he's overseeing it, and he's like, "Oh wow, whatever, you did a good job." And he's like, "It doesn't always go this well. This is not. It's like very low chance that this is all, or very at least 50-50 shot. It's even halfway successful when they do these exercises normal in captivity. Why the fuck is it just gonna work now? I know it's good. This is the moment. Like I was like, no, like nah. Like the movie's still. This is just the point. It's like this is where we've gone from the beginning half of this movie being more about animal behavior and more science driven, and admittedly it's the scariest Jurassic Park we've had since the original, and even violent at times when it needs to be. Like when the Indominus is killing people, it's the most graphic Jurassic Park we've had up to this point, and it's all gone. Now it's just like, okay, popcorn flick. Like this is exactly what happened at this point.
So the
full on action.
Yeah. So they get to where they track the Indominus. They get there, and guess what? So earlier when Owen asks Claire what the Indominus is made of, and she said, well, the base genome is of a T-Rex, and the rest is classified. Well, we figure out what the rest of what is the Indominus is made of for the rest of it. It's part raptor. So it starts talking to the raptors and turns the raptors on the people. And that's when Owen's like, we got a new alpha. The raptors got a new alpha.
Here's something else I don't understand. Okay. In the cage, beginning of the movie, when Owen goes in to save the new idiot that falls into the cage.
Yep.
The raptors attempt to do their normal hunting behavior, where there's one in front and the two on the sides. They try to get him from the side, right? The distraction move. Why is it when the raptors came up the Indominus, they just walked right up to it? They didn't even try to do their normal like stealth hunting behavior, they were in tracking mode. They just walked right up to it.
They literally knocked on the door and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, but could you keep the noise down?" All right.
Right.
The Indominus is like, listen, those people they're bad. And they're like, okay, we're going to eat them now. So the raptors turn on the people. They start attacking everybody. And we get some really weird deaths between all the raptors. So one of them gets blown up by a rocket launcher, like as Owen's staring into its eyes so seductively. I was like, I feel like we're supposed to feel something, but I didn't feel shit because this was stupid.
Raptor's like, whoop.
Oh, hey, Dad. Like, what?
Oh.
Was this the only one that died up until the end?
Yes.
Okay. So there's two of them that are chasing, like Claire. So after everything happens, the raptors make it back to that base. They start killing people, and Claire, she's in like an ambulance or something. It's
one of the ACU like containment trucks or something.
Yeah, so they got Claire, or they got Gray and Zach in the back. They're like, fuck it. Claire's out of there. She's driving down this road. That's when a raptor is like running up behind. He tries to jump into the back. They get it out. And also you get the raptor that freaking runs to the side, just smashes its head through the window. And you're like, Jesus.
How she didn't wreck at this time?
Oh my God. How the raptor didn't die once she got it out of the truck.
Right?
Like, listen, just because it's a dinosaur doesn't mean it can't break things.
Yeah, it's bulletproof.
It's like,
apparently.
I mean, we saw the dinosaur that got kicked out of the window from gymnastics chick in The Lost World.
No. I like how the dinosaurs go from fragile to bulletproof in this movie.
So it gets kicked out. They both, like the two raptors that were chasing it, they flop out, and then they hear the Indos calling to them. So they're like, they run into the woods. They are going.
Oh, hey. One scene. This is probably one of the funniest scenes that does not involve Lowry and whatever in the movie. Is when the raptor is getting in the back of the containment vehicle, and Zach and Gray like zap it out with the cattle prod, the taser. They're like, Claire, did you see that? We're gonna tell Mom about that. Like, don't ever tell you. I love that scene.
Don't tell your mom about anything ever. So
there was a scene before. I want to mention this because this is the whole arc where Zach and Gray really bond in the back of the truck.
Yes, yep.
And he says, no matter what happens to Mom and Dad, like I'll always be here. Like regardless, me and you are brothers forever. Like that's what I'm talking about. I think they had a more interesting, realistic arc, and there were kids in the movie because admittedly, Zach's older, but he's not annoying. Like I like them. They seem. Sound, of course, more realistic. They just seem realistic as kids.
Yeah.
Like they don't seem like even the kids in the original movie, Tim and Lex. They seem realistic as kids.
Yep.
I like them. Anyway, go ahead.
So since all these InGen people got wiped out, InGen decides they're leaving the control room. So everybody's got to evacuate out of the control room except for Lowry. He's like, somebody's got to stay behind. And then he goes up and you think he's going to like be able to kiss Vivian, and she's like, I have a boyfriend, which I said before was all improv. She just came out with that, and Colin was like, we're keeping it. Love it. So Lowry stays behind. Claire, Zach, Gray, and Owen, they get back to Main Street, and they go into they get back to Main Street, but they go to the visitor center, and they're going to pretty much try to figure out what the fuck is going on. They notice that all these InGen guys are taking a bunch of like the DNA and all that stuff out. And that's when Hoskins shows up, and he is like, because Claire's like, what is this? Like, what are they doing here? And and Hoskins is like, it's above your pay grade.
You'll find out in the next movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yay.
He literally does. I mean, he like sets it up.
So Hoskins is doing his generic bad guy speech to them about all the good that he's trying to do. We find out Wu is working for Hoskins. Wu is getting on a helicopter with all the DNA samples. And he's like,
where's Hoskins? Is our deal still intact?
Yeah. He flies away. And one of the raptors decides to show up and have a meal of Hoskins' arm. And later his whole body. Okay.
It's the one that he was petting on earlier. He's like, we got a bond.
Yeah,
right. Like,
So they run out.
Good death. He's got a good death. It's particularly violent for a PG.
I mean, he looks terrified. He's just like, good. We're on the same side. He's like, this thing doesn't give a shit. Just wants to eat you. So he gets killed, and they run out of the visitor center, and they love it where as they're running by, they hit the button for the hologram, and it's the hologram of the Dilophosaurus, which is just a replay of a scene from Jurassic Park. They just took it and redid it, and that's what it is, which is great. But I just want the Dilophosaurus back. I want it back, like in the flesh, not a hologram. Why is it getting no love?
This is the worst fucking thing about this movie and the other two before it. I know I still love the second one, but there's no Dilophosaurus or any of this. It pisses me off.
There's no love for this very inaccurate Dilophosaurus.
I just want to seize it. I want to seize it. Yep. Dominion, do not let me down. I'll be so pissed off if that movie ends and I don't see it. He'll be the stinger after the credits. The credits will roll, and you just see him hop around.
He'll be the last scene where it just shows it like pop into frame and do its little frill thing, and that's the end.
Yeah, and it's a little coup, and like you're done.
Like, damn it.
Fucking shit, they got me.
So Owen and everybody else, they escape outside, and that's when the Raptors show up. And Owen establishes his bond with the three remaining Raptors before the Indominus comes back. Then they attack the Indominus. Delta and Echo are killed. One of them was slammed up against a wall.
Blue.
Okay, so I know one died on a grill and like landed on a grill and burst into flames. But what was the other one? I can't remember what happened to the other one.
The Indominus grabbed it, bit down on it in its mouth, like the whole center mass of its body, so it's done, and then just tossed it.
Okay.
Well, that's the part that I don't like, because this even further elaborates. Like, obviously, there's a respect system here with Owen, but this literally like goes into full like buddy cop, kind of like I realize the errors of my ways. I know we're different, but we're bros. Like when he reaches out, like lets Blue go, and I'm like,
they had like a secret handshake. They had like the secret handshake.
Yeah, and like Blue like bobs his head, like coos, and then like turns around, like let's kick his ass, and then like it's like, where did this come from?
Oh man,
it goes from like 10% to 100. You've maxed your friendship gauge out.
Yep.
Like,
so Claire and the kids, they hide in a gift shop, and Owen is like trying to like get angles and shoot with his trank gun or gun. I don't even know what the hell he was using. So the gun that he uses in this movie, what is the gun that he uses in this movie? The one with the real ammo, not the trank gun.
It's the Marlin 1895.
So if you wanted to buy this gun, if you go to the website, it actually states that you can kill a T-Rex with this gun.
Yeah, because it shows like the images of the animals it's meant to hunt, but based on the caliber, and it has for that one, and it is chambered in 4570 government, which is a very good size round. And I just hate how this movie, I mean, it's so wishy-washy with it. I know it's a big animal, but if you plugged it with one of those, it would be fucking feeling it. That is not a small round, and it is moving quite quickly with a lot of energy.
All I gotta say.
That it's bulletproof. And
clearly, well, it does show some blood, but it does show some blood when it's hit. But it would react getting shot.
That thing gets pelted with a lot of live ammo, and it's like it doesn't feel it. It just is like, nah, I'm fine. Gotta go.
Mosquito bites.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. This is where we get the dumbass line where Graves like, "We need more teeth."
Yeah,
we need more teeth. I was like, "Fuck this, man." It. Yeah, and she's like, "I know what to do. I know what to do." So she and let's just say here, Claire is doing all of this in heels.
Respect her for this.
Yeah. And to be honest, she actually did all of these scenes in heels. It wasn't just for she was actually wearing heels.
She got a lot of flack for that.
She did it for real.
Yeah.
Kudos to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this.
So she goes down. She goes down to the Tyrannosaurus Rex enclosure.
Open paddock, die!
Yeah, and he's like, and Lowry's like, "Are you sure?
Yeah,
open it.
Why don't you do something for a change?"
Yeah, do something for a change. Oh, what are you gonna make this personal?
Yeah. And so he opens it. You get the really epic, like, boom, boom, boom. And to be honest, I actually really like this scene because, of course, if you don't know, the T-Rex in this film is the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, which makes it just another nostalgia, dump on you. but it's great because she stands there in the entrance of the door, and she turns on the flare. She turns one. Does she throw one of the flares, or does she just turn the flare on and hold it in her hand?
This is the part where she holds the flare in her hand and she takes off running.
Yes, and the T-Rex is behind her, chasing her.
Then she throws it.
Yeah, and how she outran a Tyrannosaurus Rex while wearing heels. And listen, this T-Rex, she's a little older now. She's she's not as spry as she once was, but I mean, when she starts fighting this fucking Indo, she is.
And I figured she's between 24 and 27 years old.
Yeah, because she wasn't very old in the first one. Probably a couple years old at least.
Yeah, because it was 22 years since the original Jurassic Park, so I'm assuming she's like 2 to 5 years old.
Right, and they even state in this film that there's dinosaurs that have all the dinosaurs have accelerated growth rates. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was the same back then, but it makes sense. So, and also a nice throwback to Jurassic Park 3. The skeleton that the T-Rex crashes through is a Spinosaurus.
Yeah.
And there was some theories out there that people were stating that this was the skeleton of that Spinosaurus, but because they stated that because it was an outdoor display, that it probably wasn't real, that it was probably just a makeup of it, because it wouldn't have been, because fossils need to be in controlled environments, or
because they'll deteriorate.
Yeah, but it's a cool throwback to Jurassic Park 3. I really hope we get a Spinosaurus in Dominion. I really do. I love the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. I know Jurassic Park 3 is not a good movie, but boy, I miss the Spinosaurus. It's so fucking cool.
Since they sold off like the genetic information and stuff, I don't know, spoiler for the next one, but since they sold off a bunch of those assets and information, I hope somebody makes like a current, like scientifically accurate Spinosaurus. Even if they did the old one, I would like to see both. Like that, either one.
So yeah, so she throws the flare at the Indo, and we get the T-Rex Indo. We get a big giant dino fight.
Right. Yep. We need our Vuvuzela button.
Yep. And yeah, it's a pretty cool fight. In the beginning, the Indo has the upper hand because, of course, she is young, she is spry, she is bigger than I always called the T-Rex Bessie. She was always Bessie to me throughout the years, so that's what she is. She's back there. See, we get the cool dino fight. They're right there. They're fighting. Ready? This is what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen. I got my Indominus and my T-Rex fighting. So for everybody on YouTube watching this is what it looks like. Okay, that's how it looks. All right, that's it. But no, it's a really cool fight. I like that it lasts longer than the Jurassic Park 3 fight between the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus, which lasted literally 13 seconds. And I love it that then Blue wakes up. She's like, "Oh shit, I had a rough night last night." Gets up, sprints towards the Spino. Talk about the Spinosaurus. Runs towards the Indo, jumps on its back. It's helping out the T-Rex Raptor. Now they're a team, and they push the Indo closer to the edge of the tank, and that's when we get the Mosasaurus coming out and grabbing onto the Indo. And I love the way the Indo reacts. Of course, it's terrified. Like it's like it caught it by surprise. It is terrified. It knows it's gonna die, and it just drags it into the water.
Yeah, tries to kick it off. And I was telling Angela, I said it did one of two things: either drown it or snap its neck.
Yeah,
that's what does that? Orcas do that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get a hold of their prey and pull them down, and drown them, and just eat them.
Or they just yeet them into the air.
Or yeet them into the air, yeah. They'll throw seals and
Orcas are assholes. They'll just kill for sport.
Yes. They'll kill you 3 times before you hit the ground. Sorry.
So
Simpsons reference.
So the Indo is dead. And we get the really cool interaction between the T-Rex and the Raptor, or Blue, sorry. They look at each other like, respect. And they literally turn, and Blue like run. It was literally like, high five.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, I figured it was either that, or it was like, I don't got the energy for this shit anymore.
Literally when you see, like, when it shows the T-Rex, it literally looks like she is like, fuck this, I'm done. I need to go take a nap. I'm exhausted. I have no fight left in me right now. She she goes, she walks away, which also fun fact, the scars from the raptors from Jurassic Park 1, she still has them, which are fucking great. And on I love this fucking thing. They even put the scars on her.
Oh yeah.
Really fucking cool. I really
tasty.
This was worth it, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of this movie. So they both go their separate ways. Owen waves goodbye to Blue as Blue runs away. Yeah, just peace out. Golly. We then go to, like, everybody's all together in this big room, and we get, Gray and Zach's parents showing up and crying and, oh my God, everybody's here. And then Claire and Owen are walking away into the sunset and like, we should stick together for survival.
Yeah, what do we do next? We stick together
for survival.
Yeah, for survival.
And then we get the really cool final scene of, you get the really epic music as they pan up to the helicopter pad, the landing pad, and the T-Rex comes out and does her roar. The only thing I was disappointed with was her roar. It just didn't sound as good as
didn't have that hit, the bass and stuff.
Yeah, like
it just seemed quieter.
Yeah, like the first time you hear it in Jurassic Park, that's the roar I wanted, and we didn't get it, and I was kind of disappointed. But you know what?
They've never replicated that.
No,
ever.
No, and that's it. That is Jurassic World.
Sucks to suck.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks to suck.
So that is a long one. This is probably the longest episode we've done in a while.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. We got a lot. There's a lot to talk about. Like I said, this movie is really good, except for like last half, 2/3 of the film, whatever.
Yeah.
Like as far as like it's entertaining. It's not like boring and stupid. It's just like a lot of what was established in there, like tonally and everything in the first parts of the film are just like lost. So it's fuck it, let's just go crazy. No, the raptors killing everybody's kind of cool.
Yeah, we got to see the Raptors sprint again, which I thought was really cool. I love seeing the Raptors you get to see the speed. And they even talk about it. They're like, oh, they can run 40 miles an hour or 50 when they're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really cool.
I seen that NES copy of.
Hey, you like that? That nice NES copy of Jurassic. Still sealed too. I got it at PAX East in 2018 or 2017.
It's got a good sound. Like the Super Nintendo one is a good soundtrack too. So there's the NES one. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Tasty.
But yeah, that is it. That's Jurassic World. Next week, we will be finishing up the Jurassic franchise as of right now until Jurassic World Dominion releases. So next week, we'll be talking about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which is a movie that I have been loathing to watch again. But you know what? You never know. I've been a sucker for, watching bad movies that I didn't like before that I've actually enjoyed now. Or I'm just getting older and I just don't give a shit anymore. Or I'm less picky about it. Except for Resident Evil. They're all garbage. So yeah.
Garbage.
Do we have anything to say before we go?
Yes.
You always have something to say.
I do. It's irrelevant. I'm going to date the fuck out of this podcast. You watch me. Today is Godzilla's birthday that we're recording it. It won't be when it shows up. It's Godzilla's birthday. He's 67.
Happy birthday, Godzilla.
That's right. It's relevant because he is a dinosaur-based creation.
Yes. And since it's Godzilla's birthday, well, like we said, as of this recording, it is Godzilla's birthday. When it's released, hopefully on Friday, it won't be. But also make sure to check out our first series we ever did on this show. Was the Monsterverse. So the 4 Godzilla, King Kong, movies from the late mid 2010s. So make sure to go check out our OG shows. They're literally our first 4 shows we ever did. And yeah, you might say, wow, you guys really haven't gotten any better. And I was like, well, I haven't, but they have. All right.
He's just being generous.
Yeah.
But after you're done with that, go check out the official Godzilla YouTube channel. They actually released a short live action film. Kind of rehash of Godzilla versus Hedorah from 1971 because it's Godzilla's 67th birthday and it's Hedorah's 50th birthday.
Check them all out. Cool. Check them all out, people.
Yep.
All right. So like I said, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom next week. And then we're going to do something a little bit different. Since we're ending a series, we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be doing a topic episode in a couple of weeks. What is that topic going to be? I don't know. I got to talk with my co-hosts here and decide what is going to be the topic for our next episode. So look forward to us doing more of the topic episodes in the future. I would like to... I've been thinking of doing a franchise and then doing a topic and then a franchise, a topic, so on and so forth, just to kind of mix it up. Yeah.
I got an idea.
All right.
Food, and what you should and shouldn't put in your mouth.
But this is a movie podcast. What does that have to do with anything?
You eat popcorn at the movies.
Okay. All right.
I know you can relate any activity back to food.
Okay. All right. Well, before since it is Godzilla's birthday today, Dan is streaming over on his Twitch channel some Godzilla. What game are you playing? Listen, by the time you guys hear this, it's not going to be relevant, but I'm going to say it anyways.
It'll be in the archive.
Yeah, you guys can watch the VOD, on the stream he's doing. So make sure to check that out.
I'm playing the Japanese version of the original Nintendo game. So I'm playing Gojira on the Famicom.
That's cool. So yeah, make sure you check out that VOD whenever this episode is released and you get to hear us talk about it. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got.
We're good.
Let us know in the comments what you think or thought of Jurassic World and things you would like us to talk about on the show, because I would love to hear the audience's opinions and thoughts about what you guys think of the show, what we should talk about on the show, or even a franchise we should do in the future, because after this, I have no fucking clue until December. And then we're going to be doing our favorite Christmas themed movies, or movies that are based in Christmas related films. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But make sure to go to the YouTube channel, like, comment, and subscribe, because listen, we got to get those 100 subs. All right. Got to get that URL. I'm going to say it every episode. Also, let's get Jurassic Park 3 to 1,000 views.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. When the official Dissect That Film Twitter account gets 500 follows and the YouTube account has 200 subscribers, I'm changing my name on Twitter.
All right, people. Let's get this done. Listen, I think we're at 40 right now on Twitter, and we're at 19 on YouTube. So we got some work to do. But you know what? It's a what did they say? It's a race, not a marathon. Or
exactly. What is it?
Oh, no, it's a marathon, not
a
race.
Marathon, not a race. That's
right.
It.
That's the thing you say. But yeah, like, we're enjoying what we're doing, and we're growing slowly, and that's all. I'm happy where we're going, and it's going to get better and better as we keep going. It's all up from here. But I want to thank DNA Gaming for being here, as always, for taking the time out of their day to
thank you for
hang
having
out.
us.
So make sure to do all the things over at YouTube. Make sure to follow follow me at Parker Dissects on Twitter, or Dissect That Film. Follow that one. The other one I could give a shit about. Follow Dissect That Film on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, of course. And DNA Gaming, where can people follow you?
The internet.
All right, that's it, guys.
No.
I was gonna say
Twitter is at DNA Gaming _1, and on Twitch we are DNA _gaming 1.
I always get them confused.
Remember, everybody, the links are always in the description. So even if we forget to say where we're at socially, they'll be there. Also, someday, this will be a lot smoother. But you know what? Fuck it. I love it.
You didn't come here for quality. You came here for content.
Yeah. You want quality, go to some other movie podcast.
Right. Yeah.
All right, people. Thank you so much. We'll see you all next week. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Deuces.